Atlanta, live from K.L.P studios. Ever wonder what went down behind the scenes of our top stories?
Say what?
Then tune into What Had Happened Was, the only radio station that takes you straight to the source. From coast to coast, tune in now as we dive deep into the stories, the drama, and the moments that shape the culture with
The Swanky One, new K.L.P.
and
with your girl, Evelyn Letitia.
live, Swanky 93.3 and the Heat 94.6 radio stations, or wherever you get your podcasts from.
We back, y'all. I know it's been a minute, right? Because we've been traveling. I've been on tour. Evelyn's been doing her thing. We get it. Because a lot of people are like, hey, what WHHW, what happened to it? Did it get canceled? No, we ain't canceled.
No,
We back
never
in the
did.
studio. Welcome to What Happened Was podcast. I'm your boy, the Swanky One, K.L.P. Kennedy Lucas, and of course, we have
The Evelyn Letitia.
talent.
In your ear, baby.
Pure talent. Evelyn, how you doing?
I am fabulous. Let me tell you something. Y'all see me with my orange on?
Yeah, you see that Clemson?
Y'all see it's that Clemson Tigers?
Shout out to Clemson.
Yes, I am an alumni. Thank you.
Hey.
And we just won the ACC championship. When I tell you how blessings just fall in your lap, I had every intention of going to Charlotte because they hold the ACC championship each year at the Panther Stadium in Charlotte. And so I'll go up there, and the Clemson Black Alumni usually has a watch party. So I had already planned to go, watch it with the watch party at a place called Slate. Shout out to Slate. They amazing place. And that morning around 9 something, my homegirl texted me. She said, "Hey, you got tickets to the game?" I said, "No, I'm going up to Charlotte to watch with, She said, "Well, would you like 2 tickets?" I said, girl. I was like, "How much they cost?" Because,
How much they cost?
you got to make sure they're within budget. And we had. She said, "Oh, they cost free." I said, "Oh, I'll take them. I like free."
Yeah.
So my homegirl hooked me up with 2 tickets, and I was trying to, find somebody to, because now you got to find a date. And I was like, finding a date ain't hard. It's just, who do I want to sit next to me at the game the whole time?
Yeah, see, there's only a select few people that you got to sit next to. At the game
Yeah,
before they get annoying. So
who do I
get it.
want, And then I'm like, I'm single out here in these streets. Do I really want to take somebody to the ACC championship? I might meet my forever.
Yeah.
While I'm up there in one of them suites.
Slip up and find out.
So and then at the last minute, I said, okay, well, I'm just going to post it, this
Yeah.
ticket and try to get somebody. Nobody ever reached out and wanted it. But when I showed up, there's a few other Black alumni who were going to go to the game. And I said, well, I got this extra ticket, and he said, oh, well, our homegirl D is coming, who is an alumni as well. It's like, well, she got a ticket near us. Because it was 3 guys, and they were like, well, she got a ticket near us, but she's not, sitting right by us. She's sitting by herself. So maybe, if since we are walking together, she can sit with you with your extra ticket, and we'll just have that extra ticket. If we can get rid of hers, we would. So that's what ended up happening. Me and D, and I showed them our ticket where we at. They were in the 500 level. Mind you, I've never been in the Panther Stadium. I can tell you how to get there. Never been inside of it. So this was a new experience for me too. But they were on the 500 level, and he saw that it was in 300. He said, "Oh wow, y'all up there were y'all got some great seats." And so me and her, we was living bad and bougie. They had a food court up there and TV there. We spent the whole first half eating and sitting down in the comfort of the Panther Den.
Oh wow!
And then the second half, we ended up going out to our seats, enjoyed the stadium. It was awesome. The last bit of the game, I just had flashbacks to the USC game we had a few weeks ago where we were winning. They scored a touchdown, and then it was on us. We had time to drive down the field and either take it into overtime, whatever, and we lost because of interception. So we were in this kind of situation again where the game is now tied. They just scored.
Wow.
And we have a minute or something left.
Yeah.
It got down to 9 seconds,
Good
and
Lord.
we needed to get in field goal range to even attempt, because right now the game is tied, and it's so cold. I'm like, this can't go into overtime. I can't stand back. I said, we going back inside in the suites if this going to overtime, right? Because we was all bundled up.
Yeah.
So I got the last 9 seconds of the game where we drove down, got within field goal range. It was 3 seconds, and all the pressure was on our kicker. I said, son, if ever your scholarship need to work for you.
Yeah, this is the moment.
This is your moment.
This is the time.
And this was a long long field goal. I think it was a 57-yard attempt.
Ooh.
So it was long. So I captured the moment from the ball being snapped to him kicking it. I follow with my camera, and you see it. The ball barely clears the goalpost.
Yeah.
And the stadium went wild.
Crazy. I bet it did.
I got all that on camera.
Whoa.
I'm in the stands.
Whoa.
So I said all that to say
That's cool.
that was a great adventure, great
Aw,
time. The Panther
yeah.
Stadium is amazing in there.
bet.
I mean, it is dope.
Despite the team season,
Oh, yeah, child.
y'all didn't have a good
tell you
season
something.
this year, but
Dabo Swinney brought the Clemson Tigers back to a winning record for a while there. You know, 'cause I was there. My undergrad, we had a Bobby Bowden. Was it Bobby Bowden? Yeah, I think it's Bobby Bowden. Is that his daddy? One of the Bowdens.
One of
the
the-
son.
one of them.
We had the son.
One of them.
Like, child, it's been so long, my mind's starting to slip.
Yeah.
But anyways, we had him, and then Dabo came in as interim coach like my junior year, and he was full-time coach senior year. And then we ended up winning some national championships. But then the last probably 5 years, it's been like hit and miss. Like, you can't openly cheer because you don't know, you can't talk trash. They
yeah,
go
now
out
you
there
gotta
and-
be careful.
Yeah, they go out there and embarrass you. I'm like,
Yeah,
you know. So it felt good to
yeah.
have
Going
that.
to football games they're amazing, and
Yeah.
I think I might be going to a Falcons Giants game.
Yeah.
And I'm a Falcons fan because of default. But I used to be a Giants fan, but their
Okay.
season wasn't good, so I switched over to a Jets fan. So that game gonna be interesting.
I feel you.
But going to those games there's something about them, right?
Yeah.
It's the fans, it's the engagement, it's everybody that comes out to these games and just have just a rocking good time. Not only cheer for their team, but you see other people that's part of that whole circle. They're cheering for what they're cheering for, so it gets exciting.
Oh.
Especially high school games,
Yeah.
because I filmed them
Mm-hmm.
a few weeks back, and those are impactful.
Yeah.
So
And this
it's
was
cool.
full circle for me because I told
cool.
you at times I work for ESPN.
Yeah.
Sometimes I'm a runner.
Yeah.
And so I was a runner for the Clemson Carolina game. That's a huge rivalry game in our state, and everything. And I was in the big, TV truck where we got you see all the camera angles and hear the cam team talking and stuff as the
Yeah.
game is going on. So I'm watching live, close up and personal as we lose to USC.
Oh no.
But to come full circle
Yeah.
and that ACC championship, my very first time at that stadium, my first time ever in the ACC championship with a ticket, because I always go to the watch parties, but I ain't paying no money for that ticket. Y'all, I see y'all on TV.
Yeah.
So to have all that and experience all that came full circle. So
Yeah,
that was
that's dope.
excitement.
That's
for me.
dope. Shout
Yeah.
out to Clemson Tigers, man. We love y'all. We love y'all out there. Representing.
Yeah. Oh, they enthusiastic in that cheer.
Huh?
They was enthusiastic in that cheer.
Yeah, I love it. Button press. Now, before we get to the first topic, we got a pair of bill here.
Please pay the bills.
The podcast, what had happened was podcast. See, I'm so excited. I can't even get the name of our show out. The What Had Happened Was podcast was presented by Mixcloud, tongue twister there, Mixcloud. A lot of people may know this by now, but I'm officially a DJ. Again, I'm still learning the super professional styles of DJing, but we learning in here. Hey.
I'm about to press a little horn. I was about to give you some horns. I forgot which one it was.
The green one.
Okay.
Yeah.
Look, I was about to press a. What was that? Oh yeah.
I do have a button.
Look, I'm gonna have to put some drops in there. I got some stuff for you.
So Mixcloud, guys, you guys can download the app. You can type in DJ Kennedy Lucas. That's me. You can listen to both sets. We did 2 sets in Chicago.
Okay.
And then 1 set in Detroit. That's part of the tour from Chicago and Detroit. That trip was so fun.
All right.
Yeah, I want to know how that trip was. Watch K.L.P. Aftermath this past Tuesday. I'll go more in depth about how that trip was. But we started to do this DJing thing in Chicago and Detroit. And the app does it to where all DJs can do their sets and not get copyrighted. Not get their music taken down. Usually when you upload to YouTube and other platforms, you get it taken down because it's copyright music. Mixcloud has a license to where you can play your sets and you have other DJs listen to it for free. They do have a subscription model to which I might think about doing that later on in the future. But you can listen to my set and it will never be taken down because it's copyright free for that as well for all the music. So I'm super stoked about it. By the time of recording this podcast tomorrow, I'm going to be doing an Atlanta set And then in February, I'm doing an R&B mix. Y'all stay tuned for that. So shout out to Mixcloud. We love you guys here from K.L.P Entertainment and WHHW. So, you ready to talk about Meg?
I'm not that one yet.
Not yet?
Because we're gonna lead into. You said that you got a R&B mix that you're gonna be doing coming up. So speaking of
February.
R&B, I want to talk about Carlos King. He has a platform on YouTube called Reality with the King. For those who don't know who Carlos King is, super producer. He was one of the. He started out on Real Housewives of Atlanta. He's gone on to do Love and Marriage Huntsville, and things of that nature. There's a lot of shows. I love watching his YouTube podcast where he interviews different people, and you really get a deep insight of who people are outside of their personas on reality TV and things like that. So one of the interviews I just recently watched was with Drea Kelly, who is the ex-wife of R. Kelly. And of course, there's been a whole lot to say about her that people have put in social media and the blogs and things over the years. Even more so after the documentary came out about surviving R. Kelly. And people have had things to say about her. And, that was one of the most raw interviews that I've ever seen. Even people in the comments have gone on to say, that the interview definitely changed their perception of her. I mean, she's a dope choreographer. A lot of times we see her on social media, things like TikTok and different clips of her dancing. The Beyonce song when she said, got these hips over my thing. She was the one that came up with that.
Oh, wow.
And Beyonce even did that and posted it. So she's a dope person that way, but she gave us some insight, on a lot of his albums and where the inspiration came from. She was a lot of the inspiration as well as her kids, and even some of his album covers, or if you go back and look at some of his music videos, she laid it out where she was instrumental in that. And the media has definitely painted her out to be, she's just a gold digger, she's just someone who is after his money. Why did you stay so long? And that those type questions, why did you stay so long, and why didn't you drop his last name? And as she stated in her interview, this name, yes, I married him and got his name, but she has worked hard to build her career with that name still. And, I'm like, why do we try to re-victimize victims? But I learned a lot from her. But her, and talking about the whole R. Kelly thing, brought up a segue to Jay-Z. And of course, this is a little, we know that's your boy. Let me not say that so much confidence.
Yeah, no.
Kennedy having a moment where he's grieving a little bit today.
I am, y'all. Look, we're going to get to Jay-Z. Yeah. I got some words to say.
And so the reason why this segues and connects the R. Kelly, Jay-Z kind of piece is because, and I always say this, I got a few years on Kennedy. not a whole lot. Yeah. But I grew up in the era of, R. Kelly, Jay-Z, and when they had their joint album, The Best of Both Worlds, and they went on the tour and everything. So I'm very familiar with that, so that connects them in that way. And Jay-Z, as of late, according to NBC News and other outlets, Jay-Z has been accused in a civil lawsuit of raping a 13-year-old girl in 2000 along with Sean Diddy Combs.
It's getting real spooky, y'all.
Yeah, and someone said the other day, they was like, Hollywood real quiet right now. Everybody's scrambling behind the scenes. Yeah. Because, in this age of technology right now, if you do something 9 times out of 10, and I think, I'm going to be honest, I think World Star started this. Yeah. Because think about it, some of us, when technology started booming, we may have had camcorders and stuff like that, and you may have recorded stuff. But I think by the time World Star came around, that's when people got infatuated with, I gotta capture this World Star, kind of thing.
Somebody hurt himself?
Yeah. So we started capturing things like that. But back in the day, before people really was infatuated with this got to be seen, this got to be put up on social media, you didn't have cameras and stuff like that. Nope. And even that's why you hear people say, there's plenty of people on the tapes. Think about the technology right now. We're not recording things on tapes. You got SD cards, you got hard drives, but tapes. So that lets you know how far back this goes. But there's a lot of people who probably were doing stuff behind the scenes and on tapes that they never thought, 20, 30 years down the line, this would come back to bite me.
But let me tell you, and I said this before we got rolling, and I said this in many more podcasts before. Doesn't matter how much powerful you get, how much fame you get, what's done in the dark comes to light. And Jay-Z, and I pray to God that there's nothing wrong with I'm praying that he had nothing to do with this. But we saw how Diddy went down, and Diddy going down.
Yeah.
Right? So it just kind of makes me sad because, you know, especially for Jay-Z, and I did the little fake cry because like Jay-Z was a great part, well, still is a great part of my life growing up in hip hop. So to see that he's being accused of this, and to see that he's really quiet, and you know, he's talking to his lawyers, and you know, he's not really saying too much, it kind of scares me because what if it is true? What if he does get accused and he's been proven guilty of this thing? And now his empire goes down because P. Diddy's empire went down quickly.
And let me say this. I will be shocked if P. Diddy goes down. And let me say why I'm saying this. I'm not saying, you know, yes, he's been found out because he is locked up. We got that. We got that, yeah. This is why, with the amount of high-profile, powerful people that is being suggested that is involved in the Diddy, you know, foxhole that you go down. Yeah. A lot of people aren't going to want all that information to come out. Right. So either Diddy will turn informant or has already been an informant throughout the years and has some kind of immunity. I would not be surprised if he does not completely go down, or at least go down by himself, because a lot of people don't want that information out there. Whatever information they got, and you got to have something, because they ain't just holding him because they want to have him in a jail cell, right? So you got to think about that. You know, that's why I'm like, I'll be surprised if he goes down, you know, totally. You know, who's to say, just like Epstein, they found him in his cell, you know, unalived. So I this is going to play out in a certain way. But the whole Jay-Z thing and the R. Kelly thing, I want to say this, because we talked about, you know, victims, and I'll say alleged here because I believe that when you're accused of something, the way this country's penal system is supposed to work is you're innocent until proven guilty. And a lot of times accusations will come out and we deem people guilty before the hand, you know, and we start to take things away and do this and that. Quickly, and then if something, once truth comes out and truth was to like absolve them of that guilt, it's hard to pull all that back in now. It's hard. It's hard. So I think people deserve to be able to defend themselves and their innocence, right? But at the same time, people conflate, you know, a talent and gift with people's, you know, morals and values and stuff. A lot of times people will place the talent and gifts up here above all the morals, above all the values, so that when somebody is accused of something, allegedly, you don't stand up and be unbiased until the truth comes out. You're so ready to jump down the alleged victim's throat. Oh, it's just a money grab. Oh, they're lying. Jay-Z would never do that. P. Diddy would never do that. R. Kelly would never do that. I'm like, how do you know?
How do you know?
You don't know these people personally. And I'm not saying that to say they're guilty. I'm saying that to say, wait for the truth to unfold itself. Yeah. And in waiting, you don't have to demean and belittle and to call out those alleged victims. Yeah. Because if they're lying, that truth's going to come to the light too.
Yeah. And I think it comes to light. I think a lot of people, and it, like you mentioned, you know, with World Star, just media, news in general, like, I feel like a lot of news outlets, they twist the words around because they got to make a sale, right? Yes. We know of the case, but we don't know the full scale of the case. So for you to say, oh, Jay-Z's accused, now most people say, okay, well, he did it, oh, he's guilty, but they're not laying out all the facts quite just right. We're so quick to judge right then and there and make up our own conclusion to this thing without really hearing the full outdrawn case of this, letting it play out, letting it cook a little bit. Yeah. So for us to understand. Yeah. So I always find that very fascinating for people to just say, okay, we're gonna judge right then and there because NBC News said so or Times Magazine said so.
And I don't mind speaking on these topics, but anytime I speak on it, I'm going to speak from a point and a place of being unbiased.
Right.
Because yes, you can be powerful, you can be very talented, all this other stuff, and people hold you on this platform, but behind closed doors, you can be an evil son of a, you know? And yes, you could be a victim and you could be this, but you also could be somebody who, everybody jumping, let me jump on and see if I can get something. You could also be lying.
Yeah.
You know, we've had people locked up because people have lied on them.
Yep.
You know, and say they were victims when they were not. So I always trying to stand in a place of, you know, let's speak on it. But let's be unbiased in speaking of it, because this man has not been proven guilty yet. Mm-mm. But in the same way, the alleged victim has not been proven as a liar. Nope. So like, let's let, you know, the facts and the truth come out. Now, of course, people are trying to tie this to Beyonce in any way they can. Like, like she's been doing interviews with Blue Ivy Carter and things like that. And people are like, they're trying to use this to overshadow the fact that Jay-Z has been accused. And I'm like, no. If y'all get out of your feelings and really look at things objectively and not from a biased standpoint, you would know that Beyonce is out right now. Her and Blue Ivy, they're promoting for the premiere coming up, Mufasa, the Lion King. Blue Ivy Carter, she's in there as a voiceover for the character Kiara. Hey. And Beyonce is Nala. But if you are standing in a place of bias and don't want to do your research, it's like, y'all, we appreciate y'all as radio podcast hosts and things like that you're tuning in. Yeah. But whoever you are listening to, make sure that you're doing your own research.
Do your homework first.
That's why a lot of times, you know, you see us with these laptops and stuff, we want to make sure we get you the facts, that we're not just pulling stuff from I remember, or somebody said, you know, like if I'm going to quote something from someone, you heard me say NBC News and other, you know, reputable outsourced resources are saying this, but nothing has been confirmed yet.
I think nothing's been confirmed, and you got to think for Jay-Z, Blue Ivy is in this conversation, and Beyonce, when it comes down to the movie, it's business. Business doesn't stop for nobody. Yeah. Right? Because I also saw in comics on YouTube and Instagram where they were at the red carpet premiere of the new Lion King movie, and there was a lot of comments like, guilty, y'all hiding some, y'all playing face. No, it's business. Yeah. Because they made this movie with a lot of producers and directors and composers. Everybody has a piece of cake in this movie, so they got to pay that bill.
And there's some big names in here. Like big names. You got Donald Glover as Simba. You got Aaron Pierre with his beautiful self as Mufasa, Anika Nani Rose as Afia, Keith David as Masiago. A lot of these big names. Seth Rogen as Pumbaa.
Keith David?
He's in this. See that. I love Keith David. These are all part of the voiceovers that are in there. So you got to make that money on the back end. So they got to work. They got to promote this thing. Imagine you spent hundreds of millions of dollars for something to come out. Yeah. And you say, we're not going to really promote it too much because we don't want to draw attention to Beyonce them. And then your movie only make $2 million. You had a loss. You had a deficit. Big loss. Especially when you got Beyonce, who is a huge drawer of, traffic that comes across the internet and things like that. Yeah. You got Blue Ivy Carter, who is when Beyonce announced, she was pregnant, which people still go back and forth with that. Yeah, to this day. Still. But even so, knowing that her and Jay-Z was supposed to bring forth this baby, that was a huge thing. And the way they even went in on this child for years, they're still going in on her. There was a picture recently, again, them promoting this. Beyonce and Blue Ivy Carter are on the red carpet, and Blue Ivy has on this dress that is sleeveless, and it's all the way down the floor, but it's like collarbones out. She has on makeup and everything. Yeah. She's promoting this. Now, mind you, she's like 12. Right. So the comments were kind of mixed. There's some people saying, if her mom's okay with that and what she wearing, like, why is y'all so uptight? It's not your child. Other people are saying, well, she look too grown, and what that mean? She don't look like she's 21. She's only 12 and stuff like that. But now people are starting. It's a trending topic now. I think on Twitter and TikTok. Yeah. People are pulling images of other non-melanated young girls who've been on the red carpet to compare what they've worn versus what Blue Ivy worn. I think what she has on very tasteful. Yeah. Now, of course, the makeup did age her a little bit Because when you sit and watch the interview with her and Beyonce, and they're both kind of barefaced and talk about the movie, she looks like a 12-year-old. But on the red carpet, she does look much. I ain't gonna say 21. She do look like she could be like 16, 17, not on 21. But again, like, people are always nitpicking something, and now with the whole Jay-Z thing, I'm like, don't take this baby shine away because of what her father is involved in right now, right? You know, like,
I think it's more of, and I love it that we have, you know, like the space to bring out the computers and stuff.
See, I had the vision. I was like, we need our laptops up here.
Yes, thank you for that. Because I'm looking at it now. Yeah, it's very tasteful. Now, yes, the makeup does age her a little bit now that I'm seeing it. But the reason why I say, oh, what's wrong with that? Because you got to think, guys. Blue Ivy Carter is now a mega celebrity. Not just being Beyonce's daughter in general, but she was in that documentary with Beyonce. She performed. Now she's getting into the entertainment piece of this. So from a business standpoint, and I got to bring, because I'm a business guy, I understand the business standpoint of this, because now she's trying to market more into the entertainment to where maybe she's gearing up to sing like Beyonce. Don't know if that's Blue Ivy Carter's direction or not, but she is catering to the entertainment, so she has to look the part, right? It's business. Looking at what she has, beautiful dress. Makeup, yes, I can agree. It does age her a little bit, but you're at a red carpet, you're taking pictures, you're promoting a movie. It's business, guys. Yeah. You can't hate on that.
And I mean, and people gonna talk regardless. If she would have came out there with some jeans on, y'all be like, now why would Beyonce let her come on the red carpet with some jeans on?
They look busted. They multi-billionaires, and you got Blue Ivy looking like
everything.
People nitpick on everything.
Yeah.
Damn if you do, damn if you don't.
I'm like, y'all don't take that energy and get some business somewhere.
I think Blue Ivy Carter, she looks beautiful. For a young lady, I think the outfit she's wearing is tasteful. She looks just like her mama.
Yeah.
But like I say, she's playing into this entertainment game. It's business. There's nothing wrong with prevailing in business. I love to see the family together like this, though. Like this picture here. Yeah. I love to see that. But their business, they're not going to, even though this alleged accusations out, they still got to perform business.
Yeah, they still got to.
Yeah, they still got to work. They still got to work on this movie stuff. But like I say, I pray Jay-Z gets proven innocent. I pray that he got nothing to do with this because that's my dog. Hip hop, but it's looking real spooky. Just a little bit, just a little bit, in my opinion.
Well, on that segue, because you kind of mentioned her earlier, and she's an artist under Jay-Z's Rock Nation, all that kind of stuff. Yes. Meg Thee Stallion.
Hold on. I don't care what nobody says. I love Meg Thee Stallion.
Yeah, I love me some Meg.
Yeah, I love Meg.
And I had a chance now to go on to Amazon Prime. If you haven't, go on to Amazon Prime. Her new documentary, which I had seen people talking about on social media. And so when I got a chance to sit and really watch it, I did. Meg Thee Stallion, in her own words, is a great documentary that kind of tell us a little bit about her life, about how she came up, just to read you what the synopsis is. Megan Thee Stallion, in her own words, offers unprecedented access to the multifaceted woman behind the persona. Follow the Houston native's journey on the road to stardom as she tenaciously navigates fame, grief, pressure, and success. The documentary unpacks Megan's most vulnerable moments in a powerful way that allows fans to meet the real Megan Pete. So
Look, I think, because I saw the documentary too, and this is a prime example of, because a lot of celebrities get a lot of heat for this, where they express the depression, the anxiety, the PTSD, and all these things that cultivate in an artist. Your average Joe might say, oh, well, she's rich. What she got to stress out about? You got real people who are just broke out here. No, there's a lot of pressure with keeping up this image of Meg Thee Stallion, right? In her music, in her performance, in her everyday life, because when she steps outside, everybody recognizes, hey, that's Meg Thee Stallion. That we're gonna hound her up and want to take a picture and just annoy the living crap out of her. And then sometimes she just need a moment to where she likes her me time. That's what I saw in that documentary. So she's grieving from that, the loss of her mom, which trust me, I get it. I understand celebrities losing their parents. Now, I'm thanking God each and every day my mom is still here and my dad as well, but they lost their mom. So I understand losing a mom from that point of view is really sad. So she's still kind of agreeing with that because in the documentary where I seen her mom and her, they were like best friends, right? So it's like you're losing your best friend. And then you're dealing with the Tory Lane situation, which that was, we all know how that went, right? But it's a whole other thing that is cultivating in this documentary. And from a film guy, I love the animation.
Oh my God. I love the integration.
I like
the part of the animation, this is a spoiler alert for y'all who haven't seen it.
Yeah, please go watch it.
But the part that really, like, there's several parts in time, like a little tear came down. But one of the most powerful moments was when she stepped into the courtroom to face Tory Lanez, and she talked about what she was feeling. The animation is showing her, and she starts to fall, like free falling underwater and everything like that.
Yeah, that was cool.
And when she said that, I decided and I need to take my power back, and then it kind of rewinds. It pulls her back up to the water, all the way back out the courtroom, so she walks in again, and her head is held high. That level of power in the animation, I love the way they integrated that to show, really some of the storytelling and everything like that. It was dope. To back up, she talks about her mom. You talk about her losing both her parents. Her father was already kind of absent from her life for a few years because he was in prison. And then as he got out, they began to build that relationship, only for her to lose him some years later. And then, early on, she talked about how her mom really helped, her navigate, like, you should dance like this, you should wear this. Her mom, she said, once my mom was gone, I didn't have, the person that I've always gone to ask, how do I do this, mama? How do I do that? Was gone. And I think a lot of people can, like, I'm very independent, and I've learned how to do a whole lot. My father raised me to be kind of independent and learn how to do stuff, And I know that's gonna sound weird because most people say, oh, when they hear the term independent, they go strictly into, oh, you act like you must not want a man. I'm like, no, that's not what that means. And even not needing a man does not mean I need you to sustain me as an adult. I'm self-sufficient as an adult. I don't need you for that. The things I need you for, most time they ain't financial. They're more supportive and emotional stuff. But because our society has based off finances, that's what y'all strictly go to when you hear a woman say, I don't need a man. Now, there's some women that absolutely mean it. They be like, oh, I don't need a man, because they got all these falsified thoughts of what a man is and what a man provides. But I'm a grown, mature woman. So when I say I don't need a man, I don't need him for those things you think I'm talking about, which aka is finances. But my dad taught me to be independent, but in the presence of a man, let a man be a man, right? But with her, a lot of people who aren't independent like that, you have grown people right now who are in their 30s and 40s and say, man, I called my mama the other day because I ain't knew what I was allergic to. Like, because you got people like that.
I be calling my mama too, like, hey, mama, let me ask you a question.
Like, mama, I got this... I got this tax thing. What does right here mean?
What that mean?
Like, so you got people like, so I totally understood what she meant when she said that. She said the person I call my mama for everything. And I got friends like that. They will call, they be like, we about pushing 40. They will call their mom and daddy for everything. I'm like, how you don't know this? And I have to tell myself and step back that I just always been very independent. Like, at the end of the day, I want to be as self-sufficient as possible. I know when to call for help. But I got some friends who will call their parents for every little thing. So I felt a sense of sadness for it. And then her mom passed away right at the height of now, boom, she's popping. Because people think Megan just popped up, but if you really go back and look at her documentary and then look at some of the old videos on YouTube, she was putting out her own independent stuff long before we knew her as the Meg the Stallion, But that gotta be hard though. Like, that's hard. You're used to your mom being there, you're going to talk to her all the time. Then all of a sudden your mom says she's having this headache and you rush her to the hospital, think she can get help. They come back and tell you that she's in a coma with no brain function. There's nothing that they can do. Like to go for 1 minute, you talking to her and everything's fine and y'all planning how the next thing's gonna go, till now you have to make a decision to take her off the machines. That's like tough. That is tough.
That's a tough beat.
Yeah. That's very tough. I remember my paternal grandmother when she had her second stroke. This is in 2014, and going through having to she couldn't swallow anymore. Like this second stroke left her completely paralyzed on one side. She couldn't swallow even a teaspoon of water. She's choking on it. Oh man! So they was like, well, the only way we would be able to get food in her to get her to eat, because she's not going to regain her swallowing ability and all that kind of stuff, is to put feeding tube in. Well, then we go to, okay, we consent for the feeding tube. Oh, she has a large hernia over her stomach. So we're going to have to remove that to get down to her stomach. And the gastrologist said, he was like, her chances of surviving this is like a 10% chance.
Oh, wow.
All right. My grandmother was 85 at the time.
Yeah.
And he was just like, and if she survives, y'all still, well, if she code, meaning her heart stops, if she stops breathing, y'all have her as a full code, meaning we have to do CPR and everything on her. For those who have never gone through CPR or saw it done on somebody, there's a lot of pressure it takes for you to pump the heart to keep blood going around the whole body.
Yes.
Most times, the people who have CPR done on them, they don't make it out of that without some kind of bruising on the sternum or at least some broken ribs. Now, you're talking about an 85-year-old woman. Definitely they're going to break her ribs and stuff. So then if we do bring her back, every time she's breathing, she's in excruciating pain. So we had to make the decision as a family that we were not going to put her through any of that. We weren't going to put her through the surgery. And so we just basically had to just wait for her body to shut down. And it was like a 2-week process, and she, like I said, she couldn't really drink enough. So we're swabbing her mouth with, swabs and stuff just to keep her moist. And she finally passed away. So to have to make those type of decisions, I understand that. I've been on the, I'm a healthcare professional. I'm a nurse practitioner in my primary profession. Well, I'll say my first profession, because entertainment is primary now too. But I've had to sit with families as a loved one is slipping away, or them having to make the decision that we're not going to render any more care. Right? I've had to be that person for someone. So to be in the seat now, having to make the decision,
it's tough.
It's very tough. And for her to mentally, still keep pushing forward. One thing I am glad that she kind of showed was at one point when she was getting mentally exhausted, sometimes her team would try to push her through. Like, you're Meg Thee Stallion, you can do this. She's like, I know who I am, but I still need a break.
Yeah. And I feel like those are the people that, especially for the people, and there's this one lady that just, in the documentary, she did not care. Like, hey, you still got to do this. Like, hey, we still got to get paid. We still got to. And I think a lot of celebrities should make sure that they have the right people on their team and really evaluate that celebrity, like mentally, like, hey, are you okay? Do you not want to do this? Do you need a second? What can I get to you? You want to talk about it. And I think a lot of celebrities don't have that friend that works for them that actually cares about their well-being. It just cares about, hey, dollar sign.
Yeah. And I think I know exactly who you're talking about. I think you're talking about her choreographer, who is Lorianne Gibson.
Yeah, I think so. Like,
and let me say this, not to take up for Lorianne. Yeah. But part of me, I think some of her thinking comes from the era that she was brought up in. Because, again, and this stuff be tying together. Lorianne Gibson, again, this is before your time, baby. But back when Making the Band was big, that was Diddy's Making the Band, Lorianne Gibson was a choreographer that came in and did choreography for the guys who were fighting to get up space and Making the Band. This was a reality TV show. And so back in the day, I think she comes from a world where there wasn't no such thing as exhaustion. Like, you got to push through. We all get paid. Like, stuff got to keep rolling, So I think part of that is the era that she grew up in. Yeah. But now, we've learned better. We should be doing better. So I think, because there was some very special moments in there where Lorianne was speaking life into her and really comforting her. But then there was that one where clearly everybody in the back are watching the monitors and saying, like, is she crying? Like, she looks like she's not okay. Like, you can see her team is saying this, like,
she doesn't look well.
She doesn't look well, blah, blah, blah. And then when she comes off, she tells them, like, I don't know if I can go to the next city, blah, blah. And that's when Lorianne said, you got to push through it, baby. You're almost there, blah, blah, blah. And Meg kind of pushed back and gave her attitude, and you saw her look like, and sit down, So I think some of that too comes from the era that Lorianne was in, 'cause she's a dope choreographer or whatever. But I think that's some of what you were seeing. And again, we're in a place now where we're better. And like you said, sometimes people look at celebrities because they have all the financial gains of what they're doing. We think that kind of removes them from being depressed or anxious or this, that. And all of those mental health diagnoses is not financially, tied.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. If I'm struggling with anxiety because I don't know how I'm gonna pay my bills, I'm broke, whatever. If I hit the lottery tomorrow and I'm a millionaire all of a sudden, it'll alleviate some of the anxiety. Yeah. But there'll be something else to take that anxiety. Yeah. If I don't get that taken care of and treated. So it's not just a financial thing. Mm-hmm. And a lot of times that's what we try to do. We try to throw the things that we gain from finances and equate that to, well, why are you depressed? Why are you anxious?
Why are you anxious?
What you got to be scared of?
You're rich. What you mean? What do you
that happened? That happened so long ago. Why that still affecting you today? That's what we do to PTSD folks. Yeah, like you should be over that by now. Like,
let me tell y'all, I still got some things that I won't name on this public platform, but like I still got some things that erupt my anxiety, my PTSD.
Yeah.
So like that stuff doesn't go away. It's there. Once you experience it, it's there. It doesn't. You can go to therapy, and then for me, it's working out, right? Yeah. But it's still on my mind.
Yeah.
So it's nothing that you can't let go of, because a lot of people are like, oh, that was 10 years ago, but it's hard.
Yeah, and especially if you're going through the counseling process of working through that, you have to talk about it and bring it up to work through it. Like, you can't just put it back on it happened 12, 15 years ago, I'm going to put it on the shelf, but I'm in counseling, and because I'm in counseling, it's because I haven't been sleeping well. I've been flying off the handle at people. Yeah. I'm doing poor performance in my job, and your counselor is trying to get you to talk about what can be an underlying cause for this, but you don't want to go back here and pull this thing forward. Yeah. That's probably at the root of your tree and would give us some meaning for what you're bearing fruit-wise. Yep. It's crazy to me, and that just made me think of something that Drea Kelly said on the interview with Carlos King. She talked about that. She said a lot of things in our background, how we grew up, the traumas we've come through, that is at the root of what is us. Yeah. And so sometimes, we may produce fruit that the world is seeing, but instead of y'all going back and looking at what the root cause may be, y'all judging the branches.
Oh, man.
You go back just beyond the surface, just a little bit, so you can judge the branches, not realizing there's a whole root that made this stuff grow up in the first place. Yeah. And so, this documentary really gave some insight to Meg Thee Stallion. It also shine a light on a lot of the celebrities who just jumped on the bandwagon, who was ready just to say, "Oh, she's lying."
Yeah. Yep.
Some of your peoples.
Please stop! Don't do it. Yeah, we got to though, because we saw the prime example. I saw Maul from Rory and Maul podcast. Shout out to them. I got to give them a shout out because they my fellow brothers. And then Mr. Joe Budden. Yeah.
Which is always crazy when certain people say things like Joe Budden, because I'm like, you were on the Breakfast Club talking about how you were sitting on your pregnant ex, holding her down. And then when they were trying to question you about that being abuse, you were trying to downplay that. Yeah, so how are you now calling somebody who's saying, oh, this person abused me in this way? Yeah. How are you now on a platform calling somebody a liar? Yeah. It was just crazy to me. And then you got audio tapes of, Tory calling and talking to Kelsey that we hear. Yeah. Like, tell her I'm sorry. Blah, blah. So even
that was his first mistake, though.
Even if he doesn't come straight out of his mouth and say, tell her I'm sorry for shooting her, you did something.
You did something.
You're admitting to doing something.
Yeah. That's why I say that's the first mistake he did. Now, not to excuse what he did was right, no. But like, when you call somebody, when you say I'm sorry, that's it.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Well, so you just admitted the guilt right there.
Yes, and then things like medical records and stuff like that don't lie. People who say, oh, she didn't have any fragments in her foot and stuff like that. I'm like, medical records don't lie.
You can't lie on science.
Like,
it's there.
I went to school for too long to be an MP for y'all to be like, can you just lie and say she had something? No. Y'all might take my license I don't work for.
License, and then in that jail time too.
All that. And I'm just like, that's crazy. And then the people who were on social media saying that they hope she just die and all kind of stuff, they wish death on her. I'm like, who are y'all?
Unhumane.
Just I don't understand that. Like, people, you've never met her in person, and somebody might be watching and saying, well, you going hard for her and you've never met her. I'm not going hard for her. I'm going hard for what's right.
What's right. Yep.
Like, y'all didn't give the truth the chance to come out. Y'all automatically assumed she was lying, automatically assumed Tori was a victim. And even in the documentary, you see, when it first happened, she didn't want to say that he shot her.
Yeah.
Like, she didn't want to do that. And then we get evidence in the documentary, itself, that Tori kept taunting her.
Especially in one of I forgot what music it was.
He did a music video.
And it was like,
cutting up a horse legs.
Yeah, I like, nah.
And I'm just like, and this is what people do when they think they can get away with certain abuses and things like that. But
going back to what I said at the beginning of the pod, that because you got fame and power doesn't make you invincible.
Does not.
It doesn't make you invincible.
Does not.
So it's all of that within the case, and then him saying, "Hey, I'm sorry," and then you called from jail, so you know they got to record.
Yeah.
Like, you ain't.
Yeah. And her friend Kelsey, who she said, well, her mom died. Kelsey was kind of like her right-hand person, her best friend, somebody she trusted. Yeah. In the documentary, it kind of insinuates that maybe something happened with Meg and Kelsey's boyfriend or somebody she was involved with at the time or interested in. And that's why Kelsey jumped ship on her. Yeah. And like Megan said, like, if that's what you're mad about, but you still gonna lie to the penal system, like, you just gonna act like you don't know what happened. Yeah. I don't care how mad I am at you and what foul stuff you did. The most foul thing you can do is kill a family member or abuse one of my littles. By my little, I'm talking niece and nephews, no matter what age they are. Yeah. Then I may not back you up. But you talk about potentially there was a man involved, and I'm mad because. That's not enough for me to lie or act like I don't know and plead the fifth. Yeah. When I see you being slaughtered across social media and you're fighting for justice, that to me is kind of like, that's a little corny. Yeah. But please, if you got a chance, go watch it. Don't take our word for it. It's on Amazon Prime. It's the Amazon original, Megan Thee Stallion in her own words. Now, we're going to skip on over to another streaming platform.
Yeah, sorry, guys. We stream everywhere. We stream a lot of networks. So,
Yeah, and, we like to show you and talk about things that are not only in the social media atmosphere, but because we're in entertainment, these things pop up for us too. But on Netflix...
Shout out to Netflix.
Jamie Foxx.
Hey, that's what she learned.
Yeah.
She learned the button.
Y'all see me like that. I got the button down there. But Jamie Foxx, who ironically named his stand-up, what had happened was. Look at God.
Look at God.
Jamie Foxx back on stage. Yes. Right now, top 10, number 1 in the TV shows today on Netflix.
Sorry. Yeah. We got to. This is Jamie Foxx. Actor, singer. I love his music, so I had to give applause for him.
Oscar and Golden Globe winning actor, Grammy winning singer, beloved comedian, returns to the stage to set the record straight. Yes. This whole episode, I say episode, is an hour and 8-minute long stand-up special. Was so heartwarming. But he goes into detail about what happened. Yeah. What had happened was. And we learned that Jamie Foxx had a brain bleed from a stroke. Yeah. And that for 20 days he was in a coma. He woke up, he didn't know what happened. He had to learn how to re-walk again. And that was so redundant. He had to learn to walk again. Re-walk again. And all this kind of stuff. And he talked about his daughters and their support and love and how he was so proud of his oldest daughter, Corinne, for not putting him out there, Because a lot of times what people do, too, when they have a loved one or somebody go to the hospital, what's the first thing they do? Taking pictures of you in the bed. And like, oh, y'all pray for so-and-so. Like, you in a coma. So you don't know nothing's going on.
And you doing this number here.
And they like, y'all, my friend. Yeah. They please pray they wake up. You don't have to put me on social media in the hospital bed with tubes coming out of me to tell people to pray for me. Like, I just told myself, if I'm ever in that position, I'm always gonna tell people. Yeah. I don't want no cameras in my room, no nothing.
Nope.
Like once I wake up, if I make a decision to go on camera and say, "Hey guys, this happened. I'm pulled through. Thank y'all for your love support," then let that be my decision.
Yeah.
But don't put me on, social media and stuff looking that way. I don't want people to have that image of me. Like people are used to me being full of life and energy and stuff. That's the space I want you to hold for me. And not me being down and hanging on for dear life. Like, no. So he commended his daughter for that. He talked about his youngest daughter when he wasn't getting well and everything, that she came in. Aww. Like, she snuck in because he said that at the time they wouldn't let her in because she's only like 14 right now. But I think at the time maybe 13, 12. So they wouldn't let her. So she snuck in with her guitar and played for him.
Right.
And so it was so well-rounded of a stand-up show. Because when you hear stand-up, you think they're just going to stand up there and tell jokes. But Jamie is such a triple, quadruple, quintuple, whatever you want to say, threat, that he was able to bring in the music. He was able to bring in comedy. Just like me. Yeah. He was able to bring in storytelling. Yeah. To take some of us who's grown up with Jamie from the In Living Color days, to be able to take us all the way back to there, to some of his major, Willie Beamer, Any Given Sunday, all these things that he's been a part of. And one thing I loved is the reception he got from the crowd. There's some celebrities right now, I think, if they was to go through what Jamie went through, people like, oh, well. Yeah. But I honestly and genuinely feel like everyone was sincerely hoping and praying that Jamie pulled through.
Yeah, and I'm glad so, too, because, like I say, I knew Jamie Foxx first from his music. My parents might say from his other shows and his comedics before that. For me, it was his music, and then he dabbled into movies. Yeah. I'm glad he pulled through because I follow Jamie Foxx on Instagram, and to see like how humble he is as an actor, singer, songwriter, director, producer. He's humble, and he's not on social media showing his ass, right?
Yeah, Jamie Foxx has not been problematic.
He's never been problematic. So that's why I pray for celebrities who are humble and who are sweet at heart to pull through when they're hurt or they're down, because they don't deserve it. Yeah. Right. But I love Jamie Foxx as a person and as a actor and singer. It is scary times because Jamie Foxx is young now. By the time they're recording, today's his birthday, but 57, to me, that's young. Yeah. Right. So with him having kids, and he has so much to prove in Hollywood and in life, to see him going through that, I'm like, dang, it's not time for him to go yet.
Yeah. Right. And he kind of talks about that. And again, on the healthcare side, I see this a lot. Him being a man, and a black man at that, you think because you're at a certain age, you're invincible. He said multiple times, stroke, I don't get no stroke. I'm Jamie Foxx. I'm too young to be going through this. I'm too young to be learning how to walk again. He talked about, without having to say erectile dysfunction of having to learn to go through that again, because of the stroke. And a lot of times, people think, that would never happen to me. And he talked about, in this life journey, if you're thinking about being successful one day, you don't think about tragedy.
You don't.
Tragedy is nowhere in your frontal lobe until it happens. Like, it's nowhere on the scene until it happens. And so I was so amazed at the level of vulnerability that he had, and to be able to do that, even from the top of the show, like he was trying to hold back the tears and trying not to cry and everything. He said, and he kept saying, Lord, help me through this. Yeah. And you can tell how much he appreciated being able to be back on stage again, doing what he loves to do, to not just be on stage, but to walk out there. He was dancing, because he made a huge point of saying, like, I had to learn to walk again. For anybody who's ever had to do that, or if you just had to have surgery on your knee or ankle or something, you was in a cast for a while. Yeah. And look, I've had 2 knee surgeries in high school for basketball, so I know what that feels like, even with going through a car accident 2 years ago and having to learn how to restructure how I walk and stuff because my back kept locking up. Like that, when you get to a point, I remember the first time I got back in the gym after about 9 months and I was able to get in the gym and lift weights again. I never thought I would be so happy just to get on the machine and do a lat pull. I never thought I would be so happy in my life, because here we are talking about somebody who, me standing up to wash dishes, and I've only been standing there for a minute, and my whole back is on fire. Oh, man. And I'm having to take muscle relaxers. Yeah. And things like that. So This was such a well done stand up comedy special. I wish Jamie Foxx, the greatest. I got to see him in concert before.
Really? Aw.
He actually came to Greenville, South Carolina. I think this was his Unpredictable tour. I think it was a time where he had the song "Blame It on the Juice." Got me feeling loose. Blame it on the
Yeah.
When that song went up, we went crazy in that arena.
Yeah.
That song was on fire at the time, and I don't drink like that, but I was like alcohol. It don't be nothing but water in my cup.
That song go hard, especially when you listen to it in the car.
Yeah.
It's dope. Because when that song came out, my parents was bumping that song a whole heck of a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Shout out to that. But yeah, I mean, like I say, congratulations to Jamie Foxx on that comedy special, and just congratulations to him getting better health and just being faithful. And then it's one last note. I like it when people in general when they turn to God.
Mm-hmm. Well, yeah, that's the one thing people have been saying is that spiritually has shaken something loose in a lot of people. I saw a lot of grown men, because I bring this point because a lot of times men are so, it's a societal thing. Yeah. We've taught men that they can't be, overly emotionally, they can't be vulnerable, they can't cry. So that's a learned behavior from childhood of, quit that crying, be a man. I'm like, how you telling a 3-year-old to be a man? Nah. Like, he hasn't even learned emotional regulation yet. So I've seen a lot of men on social media who admittedly say, I watched that Jamie Foxx special and man, I did not expect to be in tears. Yeah. And I've seen a lot of people in general saying, watching Jamie Foxx special spiritually has put me in a place now to just look at life a little differently. Yeah. Because I cry too. Yeah. You best believe I cry. Yeah. I don't show it sometimes in these cameras, but I cry because there's nothing wrong with that. And I think men should be okay to cry and to talk and to just have that vulnerable side of them, because to me now it's important than ever. Yeah. And you're able to express yourself a little bit more, and you kind of have your guard down, so that way you can really evaluate. Yeah. Just this year alone, I've cried and reevaluated and cried again and talked to God and went to a therapist. Yeah. So these things are very important. And seeing that special, Jamie Foxx been through all of that, and now he's doing well, and that gets me excited. Jamie, when the next album coming though? Yes, we need that. We need that new album. But shout out to Jamie Foxx. Shout out to his comedy special. What happened was, I think he beat us to that one. He got a little bit more weight to that name. Financial wise. But yeah, shout out to all around. So that's gonna wrap it up here on our podcast this week. Evelyn, it's always a pleasure. And the pleasure is always mine. Yes. What happened was, guys, check out Mixcloud right now. Get the app, download it. Type in DJ Kennedy Lucas. You guys can listen to my DJ set that we did in Chicago and Detroit. Get ready, because this weekend we're going to be in Atlanta doing another set for Atlanta. And then February, I'm going to play some Jamie Foxx. You better. I'm going to play some Jamie Foxx in February. Unpredictable. Yeah, it's going down. She said she wants some Marvin Gaye, some Luther Vandross. Oh, yeah. A little Anita would definitely set this party up right. Oh, man. That's going to be nice. That made me want to go call somebody. So we just dance in the living room real quick and go to where we going to go. Oh, man. Stay tuned next week. We got a Christmas episode. Yes. We'll be back here in the studio to talk about Christmas and more news, so you guys don't want to miss it. Until then, this has been What Happened Was with your boy K.L.P, Kennedy Lucas, and Evelyn Letitia. Hey, we'll catch y'all in the next one. Deuces.
Atlanta, live from K.L.P Studios. Ever wonder what went down behind the scenes of our top stories? Say what? Then tune into What Had Happened Was, the only radio station that takes you straight to the source. From coast to coast, tune in now as we dive deep into the stories, the drama, and the moments that shape the culture with
the swanky one, new K.L.P.
and
with your girl, Evelyn Letitia.
Live, Swanky 93.3 and the Heat 94.6 radio stations, or wherever you get your podcasts from.